Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the 1111 Matrix Code Revealed. I am your host, Garrick King. Before we get started, I want to wish everyone happy holidays, and I hope you had a great Christmas weekend, and hope all of you have a happy New Year coming up this weekend. We actually had a really good Christmas. We didn't do anything. We just stayed at home, had dinner, opened gifts, watched Christmas movies, and just basically hung out and had a good time, which was refreshing after the last debacle from Thanksgiving, where half of my family got COVID, and my stepfather had a heart attack, which, for those of you who have asked, he is doing well. He's out of the hospital. He is recovering just fine. He's getting out and going for walks every day and doing what he is supposed to be doing in order to ensure that he is on that road to recovery. So that's good. Before we get started with the stuff that I want to show you today, I want to address a couple of, basically just kind of one thing. It's amazing to me when people who talk about fringe ideas or, fringe subjects, and they go public with their thoughts and their ideas. It is amazing to me how quickly the internet trolls will come out of the woodworks. This is something that Tony Merkel and I actually kind of briefly talked about, just kind of off air, but we talked about, when I started revealing this information that, I told him, I was like, I know I'm going to come under attack from all kinds of people. And it's already started. There was a comment that thankfully YouTube's algorithm caught, so it never actually went public, and I read it and I just deleted it. There was no way I was going to allow that person to use my YouTube channel as a platform to basically call me a liar, call me a government shill, and to say that all of this information that I'm putting out is nothing more than a government psyop. Okay, that was their exact words. And I think the beginning of their comment said something like, come on, folks, are we really supposed to believe that this person or this guy woke up at 3:33 every morning for practically an entire year? I don't give a shit if you believe me or not. It happened. It happened. So whether you believe me or not doesn't change the fact that it happened. And you simply calling me a government shill and saying that this information that I'm putting out is nothing more than a psyop is complete bullshit, because I am not revealing anything that any of you could not have revealed yourselves had you been given the guidance and the inclination to do so, okay? All of this information is right there in plain sight for anyone to find, okay? I'm revealing nothing new. It's been sitting right there. Just because I've found the path and I've started showing connections, that means I'm onto something, okay? I'm onto something big, because why else would these people start coming out of the woodworks and telling me that I'm a government shill, okay? They're making false allegations, and they're trying to use my YouTube channel as a platform to call me a liar. Go for it. Go for it. There was another one today that I just thought was absolutely ridiculous, and I just want to show you guys this. So this Steve Graham, okay, he comes on the channel about an hour ago and says, this guy is full of crap, and I have evidence that he knew what 1111 was a long time ago. Ooh. Okay, I replied to this Steve Graham twice, okay? So my first response was about an hour ago, and I said, and where is your evidence? Like, you literally came on my channel, said I was full of crap, and that you had evidence to the contrary that I knew what 1111 meant a long time ago. Okay? But you didn't provide any evidence. So, and then about 9 minutes ago, I replied again and said, so where is your evidence? You state that you have evidence, yet you don't provide any. Now who's full of crap? I mean, it's just amazing to me what these people and the links that they will go to try to discredit your work. It's comical. And the thing is, they're so transparent when they're doing it that it's so easily seen what they're doing. Now, check this out. Let's go to Mr. Steve Graham's YouTube channel here. He even has a website, www.stephenjgraham.com. Rank your local business in Google's Map 3 pack. I don't even know what the fuck Map 3 pack is, but let's look at some of his videos. Okay. So, how did Rocky define success? 100 website visitors for free clicks to any website. PPC steps review day 1 free trial offer. I mean, what is this crap? Like literally, there's no indication from any of his videos that he's posted that he's even remotely interested in anything that I've been presenting. Okay. He's some sort of business entrepreneur. He has 2 subscribers. Okay. So apparently not very many people are finding what he's saying interesting. But let's go to his about page and let's go. I'm just going to copy his website here. I just want to show you what happens because I wanted to see what his website looked like. This is what happens. So I'm going to paste it in, hit enter, and let's just patiently wait. And patiently wait. And patiently wait. I mean, that's all we're going to be doing is sitting here patiently waiting for this guy's website to come up, which apparently doesn't even exist. It won't come up at all. Now, I've done this before. It's literally sits here and hangs forever. It never actually goes anywhere. Now, just to show that this is not an internet connection problem, let's just open up another tab here and let's just go to, I don't know, Amazon. Boom, the page loads right up. So Mr. Stephen J. Graham, how come your page is just sitting here doing nothing? Which I suspect is probably what you're doing, is sitting at home doing nothing but coming on my page and trolling around. Okay, so I just wanted to call this guy out because, again, you're coming to my page, you're saying that I'm full of crap and that you have evidence. But, I mean, wouldn't it have made more sense to come to my page and say you have evidence and actually showed the evidence? It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Okay, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So, all right, let's go on to what I want to show you guys today. And this image, which some of you have probably seen on my Instagram, is going to play heavily into today's topic. But before we go into that, I want to show you guys something first. I briefly touched on this in the last episode with the numbers and talking about, let's see here. So I touched on the number 22 last time. I touched on the number 121. And I want to show you guys something that's a little interesting here and how this is going to heavily play into what I'm going to go over today. So one of the things that I was showing in the last video is when you take these numbers that were generated, okay, these numbers here, and you start with the last 2 digits and working from right to left, so going backwards, and you add the last 2 digits, and then you add the next 2 digits, and then the next 2 digits, you will wind up with the number 121. So for example, this first number, we're going to start with 74 because that's the last 2. And then 10 is the next 2. And then 37 is the last 2. We get the number 121. Okay. Now, this is going to play into today's topic here in just a moment. The next number does the same thing because it's essentially the same numbers. But then the third number, because it contains nothing but ones, okay, it doesn't work out that way. So let's just look at this. Let's see what would happen. So the last two numbers are 0, 0. So obviously that doesn't calculate. So 0, 0 plus 10, because that would be the next two. And then after that, we have 11. And then we have 1. Okay, so we get the number 22. Okay, that'll play into today's topic as well. But just showing the majority of these will come back to 121 unless there's zeros in them, like this one here, because the last two digits is 04, then we would add 07, and then 07, and then 4. Okay, well, 0 does not calculate. So you have to look at this as 4774. I want you to look at this number right here. I've put the calculator just below it. And let me put it up at a sticky pad here. So I want to show you guys something. This number right here is the 19th number down. Okay, so just to show you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay? Again, taking the last two digits and starting from the end. So we have 0, 8. Okay? Well, 0 doesn't calculate, so we have 8. The next one is 0, or the next two would be 0, 4. Again, 0 doesn't calculate, so we're just left with the number 4. Then we have 0, 3. 0 doesn't calculate, so we have 3. And then we're left with the number 7. 8, 4, 3, 7, right there. Okay, keep that in mind. It's the 19th number down. Okay. And I also want you to keep in mind the numbers 121 and the numbers 22, or the number 22. So 121, 22, and the 19th number down, 8437. Okay. These numbers are going to play into this. And I want this, the whole point of this is showing you the interconnectedness of Gematria, the links that they will go to encode this information, and make it known. All right. So let's go to this image. So on the 22nd, when the Matrix Resurrections film came out, I watched it. I watched it from beginning to end. And the first time I watched it, I just watched it like a normal moviegoer. I just watching. Wasn't looking for anything, just watching. Then I watched it a second time and I was paying close attention to certain things going on. And the very first thing that caught my eye was at the very beginning of the film. This character, whose name is Bugs. I'm not going to give any spoilers to the film. The character's name's not a spoiler. But this character, Bugs, is falling down this sign. And the sign actually says Anderson, which is Thomas Anderson, Neo's last name. And if you'll notice here on the O in Anderson, so we have the circle, and then there's like a line, almost like a line going through the circle. But then we have this sign over here that says, "For those who love to eat shit." What? Like, tell me what city anywhere in the world that is going to allow, that's going to have a city ordinance that's going to allow a sign like this to even exist for those who love to eat shit. Now, I understand it's a movie, okay? But what are they trying to tell us by this statement? For those who love to eat shit. And why is it said in those exact words? Okay? Well, let's kind of decode what that's even saying. So let's get rid of the profanity part and just look at it as, what's another way we could say this? For those who love to consume waste, okay, that would work. That's exactly the same thing. It's just changing a couple of words. But why is it eat shit? And why is eat shit in green and the rest of the sign is in red? Very interesting. My take on this sign, for those who love to eat shit, and again, eat shit is in green, is that this is what they're telling us is that the matrix, okay, the simulation, is for those who love to just continue to consume the everyday bullshit, false reality that they think is real. Okay. All of the fake news, reports, all the fake bullshit that goes on in government, etc., etc. The people who enjoy staying in the matrix with their eyes closed and just accepting their reality as what it is to them without waking up. Okay? These are the ones who are just consuming the bullshit around them and just believing it. Okay? Let's start to decode this message for those who love to eat shit. It has to be those exact words. Okay? And you'll see why here in just a moment. Because again, it could have simply have been for those who love to consume waste. But it's not. They didn't choose those words. They chose these specific words. Well, let me show you why. So, using 3 different ciphers of Gematria, all within the same spectrum of the Jewish cipher, okay? So let's bring this down. So, the Jewish reduction cipher. This phrase gives us the value of the number 11. Jewish ordinal. This phrase also gives us the value of the number 11. Now, using the full cipher, this phrase gives us the value 2585, which 25 plus 85 equals 110, or an encoded 11. See how I've taken the 0 and drawn a line through it? Very similar to the sign here on Anderson. Now, there's going to be those people out there who say, well, that's a 0, not an O. We use zeros and O's interchangeably because if we didn't, we would pronounce the year 1907 as 1907. We don't. Or 1708. We don't call it 1708. So it's encoded. But now let's look at the phrases that 2585 gives us in Gematria. We get the message, we warned you. Okay. We also get the message, those that are dangerously brainwashed. Well, those that are dangerously brainwashed are those who love to eat shit, or those who love to consume waste, those who continue to or love to just be happy in their existence, thinking that, that this is just life, that there's not more to this reality. We also get the phrase, you are my end and you are my beginning. Well, that's interesting considering that the number 1111 also gives us the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. Do you see how this is connecting? We also get the phrase, what is the energy source of a human being? Well, I can tell you, it's your soul. Your soul is the energy source. And then we also get the phrase, remove the veil from their eyes. Well, that's what all of this is attempting to do, is remove the veil, show the world, show us what is really going on. Now the question has to come up, is this the elite encoding this message into these movies? I think sometimes, yes, it is. I think sometimes they are disguising their rituals, their symbols and stuff inside films. Sometimes it's blatant. Other times you have to kind of hunt for it in order to find it, but it is there. But I also believe that there are those who are very aware of what's going on. They're not part of the elite, but they work closely with them. And they don't necessarily agree with what's going on. And those people also are secretly hiding these things in film. And why film? Well, because it's easily consumed for those who love to eat shit. But there are those of us out there who are awake, or we are waking up to this information, and we are seeing through the bullshit to the reality. Okay? So again, right here, we have 3 11s. Okay? So we're tying back to the number 11. And then we have the number 2585, which also gives us an encoded 11. And all of these phrases, we warned you. We warned you this was going to happen. We're warning you that something's coming. The information's there. You just got to decode it. You just have to decode it. And when you start decoding it, boy, they're going to come after you and call you a liar. Okay, so let's continue. So let's take 2585 and add it to its mirror opposite, which is 5852. And we get the number 8437. Now, 84 plus 37 gives you, lo and behold, the number 121. Do you see how it's connecting back? Okay. Now, 8437. Do you remember that? I just showed you earlier. It was the 19th number down. When you read from backwards forwards, taking the last 2 digits and then the next 2 digits and the next 2 digits and so on, we were left with the number 8437. Now, why was it the 19th number down? Well, that ties back into the 19-year cycle of the summer solstice solar eclipses that I was talking about. Okay. Now, check this out. So 8437. When you take its mirror opposite, which would be 7348, and you push these two numbers together, right in the center, you have 3773. Well, why is that important? Well, let me show you. In my last video, I talked about Genesis 1 from the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In Hebrew, it gave us the value of 2701. When you take 2701 plus its mirror opposite of 1072, 3773. Do you see? It's so obvious, folks. And I know there's going to be those people out there. You're just trying to make connections where no connections exist. Am I? I mean, you can't deny it. It's right in front of your face. But again, remember, I'm a government shill. This is all a psyop. Such bullshit. All right. Now, one of the other things that was in the movie that caught my eye was this scene here. And it's another sign. And I was only able to get this portion of it. And you can actually see my Rodecaster Pro reflected in the screen of my iMac. So what you see right here at the very, if you can see it as well as I can, that's not part of the movie. That's just a reflection of my Rodecaster Pro. So anyway, the sign, the camera's panning down and it says heart really big. And then there's another small sign underneath it that says of the city, like heart of the city. But for whatever reason, the E was burnt out. Okay. So it's the only letter that wasn't lit up. So the other thing I want to show here is when you take the number 8437 and you just add 8 plus 4 plus 3 plus 7, you get the number 22, which again, I was showing you earlier, the number 22. You see how it connects? But the number 8437 in Gematria gives us 3 different phrases here that are interesting. The first one is, and this whole entire portion here, all of this text will give you the value of 8437. And what this it says is the definition of sheeple. People that think the president is in charge, who can't see both parties are in bed with each other and herding us to some satanic new world order. Interesting. Okay. The definition of sheeple. Those who love to eat shit. All right. Let's go down. The next phrase. Activation codes received. Humanity responds as higher light enters the planet in fullness and in force. Flashpoints are noted and stabilization protocols are enabled. Clarity of mind and heart come. Now, in order to get this phrase to equal 8437, you will notice that someone has placed an E in the word humanity, an E that does not belong. Simply like this sign telling us that it should be burnt out. We should ignore that E. Okay. The other phrase does the same thing. And it tells us that when young people begin to show symptoms of neurodevelopmental emotional problems, you can bet a round of vaccines preceded it. And there's an additional E in the word preceded, an E that does not belong. Just like we're seeing here in this sign where it's burnt out. It's telling us to remove it. Very interesting that these messages come through in this way. And again, this is stuff that people will most likely, it'll just go right over their heads. They won't even give it another thought. And this scene right here with this sign, for those who love to eat shit, it happens so quickly that you're more than likely going to miss it. I mean, you'll see it, but you may not have time to read it. You'll literally have to pause the screen or the TV, whatever you're watching it on, in order to see the sign. But it happens so quickly, your subconscious will pick it up. And again, it has to be those specific words in order to get this specific value. It's by design. They know what they're doing, and they are giving us pieces of the information. Those who are aware that something's going on. They know what's going on. They know what's coming because, as stated, we warned you. They are warning us. Yeah, gets deep. Gets real deep. And then again, that phrase, you are my end and you are my beginning, is almost identical to the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. Do you see how these numbers connect? It's a game that they're playing. And it becomes so clear once you have learned to start seeing numbers in a new way. Okay? All of you should start paying attention to these numbers. And I've gotten lots of emails and DMs of people telling me that they see numbers all the time. Pay attention to them. Okay? Pay attention. Because it's what happened to me. I started seeing these numbers. They were being shown to me so consistently that I just was like, what is going on? Like, there had to be a reason. And it just took, I don't know, that guidance. Again, I don't know where the guidance is coming from, but it took that to help me piece all of this together. And again, you have to really stop and ask the question, it started in 2009 with 333, and then in 2014, it was 1111. And why in this year, 2021, in June, the same month of the summer solstice eclipses that will be happening in the future, that all of this information started being revealed. Again, folks, if you want to call this a coincidence, go for it. Go for it. But I think it is clearly obvious that it is way beyond that. There is something greater going on here. There is something greater at work here. And it's slowly but surely being revealed. And I have no doubts whatsoever that these people will go to no lengths to try and say that I am making this shit up, that I'm a liar, I'm a government shill. It's exhausting. It really is. It's exhausting. And, but what are you going to do? I mean, it's the fucking internet. People can go on there and say essentially whatever in the hell they want. But I will let anybody know right now, my YouTube channel, my Instagram absolutely will not be used as a platform for you to come on and start spouting your BS. I won't tolerate it. I'll delete it immediately, and you will be blocked. So there you have it. And you know what? Go ahead and keep building different logins under different names. Go for it. I'll block every single one of them. I don't care. So there you have it, folks. There you have it. It's not much to reveal, but I did think it was interesting how all of this seems to connect, and these phrases that keep popping up, letting us know we're, and just seeing how the puzzle pieces are coming together. And it's only going to continue. It's only going to continue. Now, I am still researching the new binary numbers that were generated after I realized that error that was made on my part. I'm still diving into that, still trying to find all the numbers, because as I said, I took that equation even higher. I took it all the way up to 100 billion. So there's a lot of numbers to dig through, and trying to find the ones that also, aren't just made up of ones and zeros, but can be, what's the word I'm looking for here? That can be converted to ones and zeros. And when I mean converted, I mean all those numbers could be converted into ones and zeros, but I'm talking about the numbers where the whole entire number is made up of numbers that, can become, for example, this number here that I'm showing you, 4070704. So looking at this, you have 11, 4 and 7 is 11, and then 0. So it'd go, 11, and then 11, and so on. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. Well, okay, let's start with the first number. Sorry, I was getting myself confused there for a second. So like this first number, 37 is 10, and then we have 10 in the middle, and then we have 7-4, which is 11. So that would be 101011. That's what I'm talking about. Those types of numbers that can be converted into ones and zeros in that way. And again, there's a lot of numbers here to go through. I mean, I'm just showing you this. I mean, I'm just scrolling, I took this pretty far. I took this one all the way up to 24 billion. And then I continued it on the next page. I'm going to get the spinning ball of whatever. And then took it all the way up to 100 billion. So again, a lot of numbers to go through. And I've come across some interesting connections with the new binary numbers that I have found so far, just putting them into, a decoder and trying to figure out what they might mean. I've found some interesting connections, but nothing that I'm willing to commit to at this time. I just want to make sure that I have all the bases covered and see what the true end result of these numbers will be. So, all right, that's basically it, folks. I wished I had more to show, but it's the holiday and I've been busy with work and just, holiday shopping and everything. I mean, life, life gets in the way sometimes. But as I've stated, as soon as I start having more information, I will, give it to you guys and let you see what I've come across and see what you guys make of it. So, and again, I just want to state this really quickly before I go. I don't profess to know all the answers. I don't know exactly where all of this is leading. I'm just going by the information so far. We seem to have information pointing towards something happening in 2058, the summer solstice solar eclipses, coming up. You know, all of these encoded messages through Gematria. It's taking all these pieces and trying to get the bigger picture. But we still don't have, or I don't feel like I do have all of the pieces. Have a large majority of them, but I still feel like there's more pieces to be uncovered. And as I continue uncovering that information, I will bring it to you guys. All right. So, going to end this here. So I hope everyone has a incredibly wonderful, happy new year. Stay safe and healthy, and we will talk soon. Goodbye.